That right there. If it quits moving, there we go. All right, so thank you. So that's what the guy is perceiving. He's got his own fantasy, and you know what? He could go play golf. He could go bowl. He's not going home. But it's entertainment. He could go to a movie, right? He's just substituting one pastime for another pastime. He's just going after that inner need. We all have an inner need for power and intimacy. That's ingrained in our nature. So he's just going out and fulfilling them. All right? I think most people in the room would agree that drugs are addictive. And like 100% of the time. But what I will tell you is sex is not addictive. All right? Are there sex addicts? Yes. The percentage of our population that is a clinical sex addict is so small it's not worth bringing up in this form. Okay? So I just want you to understand, when I talk about demand, I'm not talking about demand for the product as in the pimps and handlers, the demand to get more girls into the business. What I'm going to be talking about is the only way that you can stop sex trafficking. The only way to stop sex trafficking is to end the demand. In the process, yes, we need to be rescuing the girls. In that video clip, you saw Mark Blackwell with Justice Ministries. Great guy. Love Mark. Doing wonderful work in Charlotte. Mark called me on the phone last week. They're celebrating their 41st rescue in the 2 years he's been doing this. That's awesome. 41 girls. I mean, that's just off the charts cool. But let's put that into perspective. Just the runaways in Charlotte. There's 13,000 a year in Mecklenburg County alone. 13,000. All right? I'm going to break it down to 10,000 to keep the numbers easy. All 10,000 of those girls, all 10,000 of those runaways, are going to be propositioned with the sex trafficking, prostitution lifestyle in the first 48 hours. 100% of them in the first 48 hours. How do you get that stat? Well, they get these people off the street, and that's the first thing they say. That's across the board. They're hungry, they have nowhere to sleep, and they're offered a job and a place to sleep. And after 48 hours of just sitting on the curb in some city, everybody that's a pimp's looking around just waiting for these girls to show up. They know the signs, and immediately they go to proposition them with it. I can change your life, we can make this easy. 100% of those 10,000 girls, 30% of those girls, or 3,000 of them, will end up being trafficked. So that's 3,000 girls a year added just in Mecklenburg County. And Mark was able to pull, and by the way, Mark's one of the few guys I know doing it in Charlotte. He was able to pull 41 of what, it took him 2 years to do that. So there's 6,000 that have been added, there's 41 that have been pulled out. That's a snowball I don't want to fight. Truly is. So, if 99.9% of the charitable organizations and the community service organizations and the nonprofits are all going after the supply, and that snowball's still growing, what then can we do? How do we end this? I'm going to break it down simply for you, in my entrepreneurial way. The product is sex for money. If you put 10 bottles on a shelf at Walmart of Tide, and all of us with our big hearts rush up and take 5 bottles off the shelves, but there's still the same 10 customers standing there to buy that Tide, what happens? No. The price of the 5 skyrockets, and they'll put 10 more back on the shelves. Price goes up. More people come to the party. Right? And the 10 who are fighting over it are still fighting, and they're going to bring more people in because of the supply. So, oddly enough, by doing the right thing, we're actually doing the wrong thing. Crazy. And this is just business. Right? When I say the wrong thing, I'm just talking from a business perspective, where it's the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world. Why? Because it's big business. Why are the drug cartels getting involved? Because it's big business. They're going to make more money than they did in drugs and weapon sales. Right? It's business. So if we attack it from a business perspective, it's just right there. Just keep it real simple and easy for all of us. If we'll attack it from a business perspective, we have to get rid of the 10 guys standing there to buy the time. Because if you get rid of the demand to purchase, then those 10 will grow dusty and eventually just be taken off the shelves. But certainly no more products being added. And if no more products being added, then we don't have this problem anymore, right? So make it a 3-year business plan, a 5-year business plan, a 10-year business plan. So here then comes the question. Bo, men are men, you can't change them. I would agree with that in most locker rooms. I know men. I happen to know one of them very intimately. I know how we think. And I know how we operate. And I know how our culture comes at us via advertising, manning up, cultural up. Sex is thrown at us constantly. We're barraged by it. It's basically ingrained into us from a young age. But here's the key. Prostitution has changed, and men don't know it. Men don't know it. Here's what the change is. The product was sex for money. I give $100, I get a sexual service, I leave with a smile on my face, and I go home to my wife and kids. Jillian, the gentleman who was pimping her out, well, we had 6 other girls. He was raking in $2 to $3 million a year off these girls. We're talking big money. He really did have the lifestyle. He was also somebody my age, gray-haired, husband, 2 kids. All right? Never underestimate this. When you add money, that kind of money, the quota that these are talking about is $1,000 a day. $365,000 a year per girl. Average pimp has 2 to 3 $1 million a year. And when I say average pimp, that's the pimp, that's the Snoop Dogg gold tooth pimp, right? I mean, he's not really educated up. Not educated up at all. This is easy. When you grow up in a life of being manipulated, and most of these guys have been, they understand manipulation. They have to manipulate just to survive on the streets. That comes natural to them. But then you can get to a sophisticated point where you've got 6 or 7 girls. Right? Now you're making some real money. In fact, $500 will buy you a girl fresh off the boat, or just been kidnapped, or just been manipulated in, $500. Once she's been seasoned, she's worth $22,000. What is seasoned? Well, that means she's been taken off somewhere rural where nobody can hear her scream for 6 to 8 weeks, and she's beaten and raped for 6 to 8 weeks. Over and over and over and over again until there's about 3 or 4 personalities now in this girl. She's ruined, mentally, spiritually. She's empty. She's a broken horse. Right? 22,000. Now, just stay with me here. If I have 5 girls making me $300,000 a year, or even back that up to by the week. If I have 5 girls making $5,000 a day, 7 days a week, it's $35,000 I just put in my pocket in cash. So why wouldn't I every couple of 2 or 3 or 4 months put all 6 of them or 5 of them in a room and just pull my gun out and pop one of them right in the head in front of the other girls? I make it back in a week. You think the girls left are going anywhere? People, that happens. That's everyday business in sex trafficking. Everyday business. Women, when you think she's there because she wants to be, change your attitude. She's a victim. And she's seen things you'll never want to see. And she's gone through things you'll never want to go through. In fact, I can't understand it. You can't understand it. We just are going to have to, with our hearts, believe it's true. That little 5-minute clip we just watched, man, I was coming out of my chair. I can't take watching stuff like that. Did you hear that girl just roll off? I never thought. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I never thought. We don't either. I have no idea. Me either. But it looked like she knew what she was talking about. There's 3,000 girls added in Charlotte, just Charlotte alone. This year, they're going to be added to that. All right, so the demand. Here is what I'm going to give you for men. We men will let another man have sex with our daughters, our sisters, our wives, our mothers. But we will not let you rape any of them. We will let you have sex with our daughters, our sisters, our wives, and our mothers, but we will not let you rape any of them. That's man code deep. If you take the prison population, which we would have to agree is the lowest form of morality and integrity in our country, if you just took a population base. When the prison riot breaks out, the first people to get stabbed, killed, are the rapists. And man, if you're a pedophile, a raper of below 18, you're done. Isn't that what we always like to Facebook post when you see those on the news? Oh, I can't wait for them to get to prison. They'll get what they got, But they have to lock those cats up 24/7. They have to isolate. So if the base of our population understands we don't like rapists, then the rest of us guys are the same thing. That's my point. Okay? Well, but why do you bring up that fact? Because what I'm trying to do is get people to quit buying Tide. So what I'm now trying to do is get guys to understand they need to quit buying prostitution. That's okay. So here's how I do that. This is so effective. Pass it on to your boyfriends, your husbands, your sons. Invite me to your churches, your civic organizations, your locker rooms, your men's groups. Man, I'll turn tonight. It takes me 5 to 15 minutes. It's how quickly I can get this across to a guy. And this is what I say. Gentlemen, 1 in 5 of you has paid for prostitution. Admittedly. And guys are liars. So it's got to be at least 2 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 5.